We'll be reviewing the front pages of our national dailies today, starting first off with a Daily Trust. Right in front we have Taraba, 8 months without a deputy governor. At the top left we have civil servants use stolen money to build estates, says EFCC. That's on page 18 of Daily Trust. We have Brunungwari motorcycle phone theft replace abductions. That's on page 12 of a Daily Trust. What to know about new insurance law? That is on page 24 if you want a detailed information on the new insurance law. Make sure you check it out. All right, at the bottom we have states activate control measures as flood wreaks havoc. That's on page 5 of a Daily Trust newspaper. We have Ghana defends environment ministers killed in helicopter crash. That's a tragedy. That's on page 32 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Israel plans full occupation of Gaza as 130 people killed. Anti-party PDP to take action on Wiki next week. That's on page 13 of the Daily Trust newspaper. All right, next up we have the Guardian newspaper. On the Guardian, right in front, we have First Lady's humanitarian donations hit 12.9 billion naira in 2 years. That's on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. At the top left, you have Nigeria may split without restructuring before 2027, says Wodo. Wodo wants. That's on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. Appeal court restores interim forfeiture order as assets linked to Yahya Bello. That's on page 30 of the Guardian newspaper. We have JAM sets higher bar for under 16 candidates. That's on page 4 as well. IPAC writes RSEC rejects August 30 states local government election. That's on page 7 of the Guardian newspaper. Indiri's ban over unruly behavior at Abuja airport. That's on page 2 of the Guardian newspaper. We have APC chieftain warned Tinubu to shelve re-election, focus on governance. I have insurance stocks jump 10% after Tinubu signed law to recapitalize industry. That's on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. Rep decries non-release of immunization funds. That's on page 4 of the Guardian newspaper. Tinubu, NPAN, NGE and NUJ, others mourn and pay tribute to late Doyin Abiola. 6 FMCG firms' costs of sale surged by 24% to 562 billion naira in the second quarter. That's all we have on the Guardian newspaper. Make sure you grab yourself a copy and stay informed. Joining me to review some of the headlines of the pages of today's national dailies is Editor-in-Chief of Dateline Nigeria newspapers, Nasiru Lawa. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning. It's good to be here.
Good morning. All right, right in front on the front page of Daily Trust, we have Taraba, 8 months without a deputy governor. What is your take on that, having 8 months without having a deputy governor in a state?
Well, you know, we have been saying it for quite some time now, that the states are actually getting away with so many things because our attention is, you know, focused on the center, what Tinubu does, what he fails to do, and things like that. Just imagine the same scenario playing out in the, you know, at the center. That's the president without a vice president for, let's say, even 2 months. You know, the response will have been, you know, more diverse and what have you. And, you know, Taraba State is one of the most, you know, ethnically diverse, you know, states in Nigeria. And there are so many divergent groups, you know, with different ideas and interests and what have you. And so many people will say now that they have gone 8 months without a deputy governor. You know, though the deputy governor is from Zing, and Zing is from the northern part of Taraba State. So many people will have said, why don't you just replace him? Because right now, I know so many people, you know, some of them Muslims are saying that it's like they have been denied that representation, for this length of time, which is up to 8 months. So if the state can, get its acts together, do what the law says, I think we'll end with all this problem. Because right now, so many things are happening, and then the people are not feeling being part of the government, which the government should find a way of, addressing. If the deputy governor is sick, if he is incapacitated, if he cannot play the role of a deputy governor, why don't you just replace him? Nobody is saying that it's his fault, that he is ill. But then this is the issue of governance. Even if he is to die, as he will do someday, there will be a replacement. So I think the best thing is for the government, especially the State House of Assembly, to exert its influence, so that we will see whether, I know even lawyers are like, have a conflicting views of the development in Taraba State, but at least I know the law is clear. So we should do what the law says, so that at least we'll get this behind us.
Absolutely, in the public's interest. All right, we have here, civil servants use stolen money to build estate, says EFCC. And I don't even know where to start from, because at the end of the day, there would be statements like this, but then what is being done about it at the end of the day?
Well, just like the EFCC chairman said, if you move about around Abuja, you see so many unoccupied buildings. I don't think somebody who maybe collected loans from the bank to set up those structures will leave them without, any occupant and what have you. And then I also don't think it will be possible, for you to get your own hard-earned money to build a structure and then leave it lying waste. So many Nigerians will say, rather than just tell us about what is happening, we'll rather see you, prosecuting those that are, have 1 or 2 cases to answer. It's not just about coming out to say that civil servants, we have so many civil servants in Nigeria. Some of them may feel, like you are tarring all of them with the same brush, and which is not fair, because there are quite a number of them that are, honest and what have you. So it's not good to just bombard us with all these statements. What we want to see is action. Let us see some culprits, in the courts, being prosecuted. That way we'll say, yes, the EFCC is now talking. But just to mention this, I think it's only for the papers to have, something on the front page.
All right, let us look at this anti-party PDP to take action on Wiki next week. What is your take on, these anti-party allegations and, statements that Wiki has been making all through?
Well, when I saw the story, the first thing that came to my mind was, will they be able to, take any action on Wiki? Because if they can do that, probably they will have done that long ago.
A long time ago.
But, just like so many people will say, he has been making this argument that at a point, all these people that are now laying claims to PDP have abandoned the party at a point. He was like among the few, that had to use their own resources, their own time and what have you to run the party. Now that the party has remained, in existence, they are now coming back to trying to wrestle power away from him. But I think if, like we have been reading in the newspapers that, statements credited to him, like, by 2027, PDP will likely, support tinubu. If that is the case, then it's better for you to just leave the PDP, go into the APC, so that you will have all the rights, all the liberty to support the president. But honestly, it will not be good for you to remain in the opposition as a member, and then you are helping the cause of the ruling party. Honestly, I don't think any serious politician will even want to do that.
All right, let's look at the foreign scene. Israel plans full occupation of Gaza as 130 people killed. The situation between Israel and Gaza is just devastating when you see what is going on, when you see the state of hunger that people are in. And with this now, obviously, a lot of people will see that is the obvious plan from the get-go. But then what is your take on this?
Well, it shows the hypocrisy, in international politics. Just imagine Russia doing the same thing to Ukraine, and all the Western countries will have been all over the place, but right now, because it is Israel, which is in the good books of all the Western powers and what have you, it's now being allowed, to break all the known international rules, even humanitarian cases, starving people, denying them even the right to exist. Honestly, I think the whole world should come together to find a solution to this, because no matter how long it will take, this thing cannot, continue. And I hope even the Arab countries and all the countries that are surrounding Israel will, come out in full force to show Israel that it cannot continue, in this trajectory. Because if we allow this to continue, another country may want to do the same thing tomorrow, because like China right now is all over the place making claims about certain countries like Taiwan and what have you. I know some will say, it's part of China and what have you. But if you allow Israel to get away with its own, that's when you will begin to see other countries doing exactly the same thing that Israel is doing. And if that comes to play, then we may not have, like the justification to even start addressing them, to tell them to not to follow that route, because we have allowed Israel to do the same thing without any consequence.
All right. Thank you very much, Nasir Lawal, Editor-in-Chief of Dateline, Nigeria's newspaper. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
All right. And with that, we've come to the end of Daybreak on Trust TV. Make sure you tune in tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. so that you do not miss out on interesting and engaging conversations. As always, I am Hawa Ademikiawa. Thank you for watching.